Well, welcome into my studio. Today I am going to talk about my sketching journey. The how, the why it all came about. I am Linda Glover Gooch and I am a painter. I have been painting for many, many years. In the beginning, I didn't always sketch. I am such a lover of oil paint, the richness of it, the consistency of it, the way you can make frosting out of it, thick and creamy, or you can go thin and transparent. That is what I fell in love with, was the color in the very beginning. There was many years when I really didn't do a lot of sketching. Once I started sketching, I did see an advancement in my skill level. This is probably one of the reasons why I'm such an advocate for it. I've been through a lot of different sketching situations, from plein air to life drawing classes to in my studio, and they all play an important role. And this is what I want to try to get across to you, is the importance of sketching. I mean, you can see some of these sketches right here. Several different sketchbooks. Now, this is just one thumbnail out plein air at the Goldfield Mountains. And I'm not using a lot of grayscales. I just was a quick drawing. So these are the types of things that you can do for practice. This was up in the mountains of Arizona, the White Mountains, up in Pine Top area at a stream. Yet another one there. Just really quick studies trying to figure out composition, which it did turn into a painting. And so, continuing on, just some quick sketches here. This is Monument Valley, and this was for a painting that I was doing for an upcoming auction, and just giving myself ideas. So out plein air with markers, again, a small sketchbook. I believe this sketchbook might be from Jerry's Artorama, and it's nice size because it's small. But this is in Glacier National Park. Glacier National Park, just ideas to help me while I'm out there on the road working plein air. Working out a billowing cloud, a cloud scene. Again, I just have multiple sketchbooks, and that's just on the road traveling to California. Some markers, working with some markers. Then out plein air at the Grand Canyon, just doing some studies there at the South Rim. Just looking at the close-up elements at the canyon, just to help give me ideas. Again, trying to figure out those busy compositions at the canyon. And I was drawing some ravens there at the canyon. They were all over the place. Kind of fun to throw them into a painting or sketch. There's so many different elements to the landscape. Practicing saguaros, living here in the desert. They're tricky little characters, so sketching them. Just those types of things. This was in Colorado. Little thumbnail. I mixed a bit of my pencil for some of the lighter values and just used a darker value on the trees. When I talked about having fun with the gouache, so these are just some gouache pieces. Now, where I go with these are just as having fun and ideas of maybe something that I'm going to paint at a later point in time. And I just work all of these out. I do a lot of these at night when I'm not painting during the day. They're just scenes from different places. I like this one. I think this one might turn into a big oil. And that's part of this. Even though I call this my play, I can see that I am advancing with the medium of gouache, but also finding scenes that I think, hey, maybe I want to turn that into an oil painting. And just keep pushing through all of that. And like I said, this is just a book full of gouache only. This is outside my studio window, you know, and then I do journal over here, make a little note over here on the other side of my page, because this is really just personally for me, my journey here. This was a trip into Florida. Kind of liked this scene. This was trees that I kind of fell in love with. I believe it might have been Zion. Up in Sedona, I did paint this in oils, and I will probably paint it again. But I did date it over here and talked about the scene a little bit and what it was like out there when I did paint it on site. This I did not paint on site. It was actually an oil that I did on site. It's sold. Down the road from my studio, this beautiful scene of all the flowers that were blooming in the spring. The mesquite tree was really green. Then back to the ocean. I just have a love for the ocean, and I'm wanting to spend more time there. Some colors of Honduras, the beautiful blooms that were in Honduras. And then I'm getting ready to do this one. You can see that I already have my sketch on. This is a scene from Rocky Mountain National Park. So that is the fun that I have with gouache. It's just the place where I go to play. And I think that's an important thing for you to consider doing. Sometimes when I'm sitting at my desk, I'll even doodle on a note, post-it. I was thinking about some trees down the street. So I'll even use post-it notes once in a while just to doodle on. I think it's just an important thing to keep yourself creating. So those are just some of the sketches that I did, but I'm going to be honest with you, I do think that it has really helped my career. It has helped pivot me further along in my painting. And the thing is that I truly enjoy the whole sketching process as well. So this is why Sketch Extravaganza has been born. Possibly my summer sketch giveaway was what drove me into really building this course. As I did the summer sketch giveaways, I could see that people enjoyed them. And if you don't know what summer sketch giveaway is, it was during the summer I would do a special event. And at these events, I would give away sketching supplies. I would do a demonstration of a quick sketch, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And then I would give away markers and sketchbooks and that type of thing. So in doing that summer sketch giveaway, I realized that people weren't sketching, but they had some interest in it. So that's probably why Sketch Extravaganza came into play. But my journey of sketching started years ago when I was doing still lifes. And I realized if I would do sketches, my still lifes turned out better. And now I don't get a whole lot of time to do still lifes anymore. I'd like to do still lifes. I used to paint a lot of Talavera, and then the Grand Canyon took over for me, and I started painting a lot of the Grand Canyon. Actually, the Grand Canyon kind of put me on the map, so to speak. Even though people did know me a little bit for my Talavera still lifes, because I did do a lot of advertising. That is something as an artist you should think about. Advertising does pay off, but you can't do it once. You have to do a run of advertising. You have to sign contracts, do a yearly contract of advertising. So there was times when people did know me for my still lifes, but then as I started painting here in Arizona, the Grand Canyon, and sketching the Grand Canyon has really helped me be able to paint it. So that's kind of my journey into sketching, and I love sketching. I love sketchbooks. I love the loose leaf, like you see here in my course, how I put the loose leaf sketches, but lots of times anymore when I buy a sketchbook, I like to try to get a sketchbook that has perforated edges. That way, if I do want to remove one, I can. And then sometimes I give them to my clients. Sometimes they get used for teaching. Sort of depends on what my need is. Anyway, you can see spread out here on the table, Art and Fly markers. They come 12 to a set, but you know, there are some different colors in them, but they are a nice marker. You can use the Copic, Blick Studio markers. They come with 6. The Copics come with 5 and a small thin one. The Tombow set has 10 beautiful gray scales with them. Artist Loft is from Michaels, and then I still am using Prismacolor markers. These were the markers that I started with years ago. But at my drawing board too, you know, I try to make this an area that is accessible for me all the time. I have my erasers, I have pencils, I keep things here that are easily accessible. You know, I have pictures of my kids, but then I do have some colored markers because I do like to work in color. So you can choose and pick. You might already own markers and they will work fine for the course. So that is just a variety of the markers that I use. Some of them I've used through the course. I've used all of them just through my journey of working on art. And then this is my drawing table. I do have a picture of it also in the supply list, and I talk about it a lot. It's so nice to have a place to go and work, but you know, if you don't, I do have images of like some totes that you can load all your sketching supplies into. You can make yourself a small tote and it'll be perfect for you. I mean, you can take that tote to the kitchen table, you can take it to the front yard, you can throw it in the back seat of your car and have it with you different places. You don't have to even take a lot when you go places. You can take one pen and a sketchbook and just level up your skill by keep on practicing. Usually I try to make my sketching area inviting to come to. You know, I have little pictures on the wall of my kids when they were little, and most of the time there's drawings here from my grandkids. I tidied it up a little bit because there was too much on the table. So it's just something for you to consider. My sketching journey has been an up and down thing. I've had times when I've really worked at it hard. Then I've had moments where I didn't do as much. Then I would get back to it again. But I do find it to be a really important part of your art journey in general. Now, maybe you're just a sketcher and that's totally cool. Maybe you want to move into painting. Then that is the doorway into it. I have multiple online courses that I teach with oil painting. And there is one thing true about sketching is I do find it my fun time. Just like I was talking about gouache is kind of just stuff for me when I just need to like step away from my really serious work. Then that's what I do. But I also find that here at the drawing table too, with my black and white sketches, with pencil sketches. But most of the time I use markers anymore. I don't do a whole lot of just pencil. I do start with pencil most of the time, but I don't do a whole lot of just pencil. I usually jump into the markers because I enjoy that medium. So I hope that this was interesting for you to hear my journey into sketching. And now I'm hoping you'll take your journey into sketching, jump into Sketch Extravaganza. Or maybe you already have been sketching and you can just use this as more practice for you. Like I said, with the 10 sketches, by the time you go through them, you can go through them at your own pace. You can do them all in one day or you can do them daily. But the whole idea is to start a habit. Starting a habit of sketching is the way to level up your ability. All right, my friend, check out the link below. It takes you into Sketch Extravaganza. And I just hope that you're enjoying the journey, whatever medium, whatever style, whatever subject matter that you're working on. Just remember it is a journey and enjoy it, because we as artists get to live a full life of creating. And it's such a blessing and such a fun thing. So get to the easel, get to the drawing board, get outside, whatever it takes, just get creating.